Okay, it's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and bring this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here. I know these next couple of meetings are always fun because it's June and July. We'll get through it. So, we don't have any guests tonight. Brittany is on though, right, Britt? You can hear me?
I'm here.
Okay. Just making sure. With that, we'll move on to 4.01. This is the point in the meeting for comments on matters not already on the agenda. Comments on agenda items will be accepted when that item comes up during the meeting. Interested persons may also submit views in written form to the clerk or superintendent prior to the meeting, and those comments will be brought to the attention of the board during the meeting. Do we have any public participation in correspondence?
No.
Perfect. 5.01, consent agenda.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second. With that, I'll move right to the vote. Francis? Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Governance calendar. I have no issues on or questions on this. Anybody else?
Handbooks, are you guys working on those still?
We're working on them.
Condensing them?
It's a work in progress.
I can't wait to see what you come up
Me either.
You guys will get it done. Okay. 7.01 old business. We'll have that board training on that must be that first meeting in July with Deb. Cool. So, yeah. We'll try to get everything done right away on that one. It needs to be done, and then we'll just go slide right into it. Yeah. Double check. Yeah. You want to just confirm that those dates are still good with them?
Yep.
So, okay. Moving on to new business. 8.01. Some resignations for information. We got a little work to do there.
Have all these been posted?
I'm nervous about the bus route. Yeah, I mean,
What do you do?
nothing. Just have to go to one route.
Yeah. So, 8.02.
Okay, I'd like to recommend for hire for the 25-26 school year, FBMS history teacher Emily Vincent.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves Emily Vincent, FBMS history teacher for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any public comment on this? Any further board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye. I'm gonna have to get used to this seating. I'm gonna
Yeah.
screw it up. I gotta look.
You can randomize it.
Yeah.
8.03.
All right, one more recommendation for hire for classified position, 24-25, so the remainder of the current school year and the 25-26 school year is Carrie Brannon for custodian.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves Carrie Brennan for 24-25 and 25-26 school year for custodial.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any public comment on this? Any further board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye. Right. 8.04.
All right, I'd like to recommend to rehire classified staff 25-26 school year, Tammy McCray for secretary.
I move that the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the rehire of Tammy McCray, classified staff for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any public comment on this? Any further board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
8.05.
All right, I'd like to recommend for rehire for non-affiliated co-adult education coordinators, Jewel Davenport and Janelle Asbury.
I move that the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the following non-affiliated co-adult education coordinators. Rehire for the 25-26 school year, Jewel Davenport, Janelle Asbury.
Oh, I'll second. Sorry. Oh, no, I was like, we gotta get the yes.
Okay, motion and second. Any public comment on this? Any further board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
I abstain.
Aye. Thank you.
You want me to read these now?
You can read them out loud, but we'll take them as a whole,
Okay, all right.
as
So-
presented.
All right, be recommending for hire for extracurricular for 25-26 school year. Tasha Miller, FBMS assistant cross-country coach, Brenda Menahan, CHS concessions fall, Brenda Menahan, CHS concessions winter spring, Karen Briggs, CHS BPA assistant, Karen Briggs, CHS art club, and Nicole Christian, CHS assistant play director.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the extracurricular hires for 25-26 school year as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any public comment on this? Any further board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye.
Can you guys tell me who seconded that?
Sabrina?
Okay, thank you.
8.07.
Okay, I'd like to recommend to rehire extracurricular staff for 25-26 school year as presented. The list that's in front of you.
No, we can go
Okay,
through them.
there's quite a few.
Were these opened up to current staff? Or were we just rehiring? I just know that
Are
there's,
they posted?
No, they're just rehires.
I didn't think so, yeah.
Just because there's people who have resigned from other positions.
I would like to give staff that are currently an opportunity to do that. But that's me. I just think it's,
Okay,
So are you asking for it all to be opened up again and then they reapply again
no, I don't think so. I just think that,
and then re-interview?
no, I think that if you retire, you're probably,
I see what you're saying,
we should open that up to somebody that's.
within the district.
Yep.
And then would you want to open up the ones that are not in district? As rehires or? Has everybody agreed to come back? Just because one of the basketball coaches that resigned, she is on here for weight room.
Right.
She's agreed.
She has agreed?
She's still okay with that?
Okay.
Okay.
She's actually already been hired for some and Fallon's handbook. Usually with those positions, if they've done a good job during the year, then they're offered to retain that position and continue.
I think that's fine. I just think that if you retire, then we should see if somebody that's in the district wants to take that over.
Didn't the person that retired?
Yeah.
She's not on yet, is she? Oh, I see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that moving forward.
Yeah.
If they're all willing to do this now, yeah.
Yeah. Moving forward, yep.
You say that again? What are we doing?
Moving forward, if you retire, we're gonna open that extracurricular position, open to staff
Within district.
within the district.
Yeah, I've done similar, I'm used to that, so, got it.
Just so I know what
Okay.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the extracurricular hires for the 25-26 school year as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second. Any public comment on this? Any for the board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Jen?
One at a time or all together?
We can take these together.
So I'm making the recommendation for the following contracted services for the 25-26 school year. OT, Erica Norland, speech and language pathology, Jessica Dilworth, school psychologist, Steve Willis and Sonia McNeish, and then physical therapy services will be provided by the Colstrip Medical Center.
I move that the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the contract services for the 25-26 school year as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any public comment on this agenda item? Any for the board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. 8.09,
Oh, this is Brittany's.
this is Britt's.
This just allows the district clerk to have a little bit of room when it comes to the TFS. In the past years, I've only done one transfer, and that's from the general fund to the multi-district fund. So I'm assuming I will do that again, but this will give me leeway to do that without having to come back to the board with board meeting restraints and time restraints and things like that.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees grants permission to the business manager to make end-of-year operating transfers as necessary.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any public comment on this? Any further board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye. Health insurance renewal. Britt, this is you as well.
All right, so we had insurance committee meetings. There was no change to our EBMS that we're currently getting. Besides, there was an 8.8 increase this year. A little lower than last year, but still an increase. And that was okayed by the insurance committee. We also reached out, and Unum had a pretty big jump for us this year with 25%. And then the other increase was 29% for the long-term disability. That could be because of, we have had some long-term disability employees. And so I don't know if that's the reason for the big hike, but we did reach out and do a little digging and asked for some other rates. And so I've put those in there, and looking over those, what my recommendation would be to switch to the Mutual of Omaha. Anyone that is currently on a long-term disability plan, we will pay a small premium still to Unum so that they don't lose what they've started with Unum. The only downfall is the voluntary life. It's a pretty big savings for the district as far as the premium goes for the group life and the group long-term disability. But voluntary life, it really affected about 3 people in a negative way. Other people, it benefits them. Before we were all on the same rate, this one goes off of your age. So the ones that are a little bit more up in age, their cost will be significant. One was about $350 and it went up to about $1,000, about $1,500 is what it would cost him. And so I did reach out to those 3 employees that it affected and explain to them, you know, you can lower your coverage amount. You can look elsewhere if you need to. We try to kind of, you know, think about everybody, but that is something that the board can discuss. I did reach out to the insurance committee as well. I didn't have a very good feedback. Well, it was kind of a lack of a feedback. But me and one member did sit down and discuss it in length. And so it kind of has its up and downs. So I could go either way. We could kind of keep it as it is, and that would be a savings to the about 12 people that do use that supplemental life insurance. And it negatively affects, you know, pretty substantially 3 of them. But so my recommendation would be to switch over to Mutual of Omaha. I do feel like Unum is going to increase those voluntary rates at some point. They've been pretty stagnant for a long time for that voluntary life. And so I do see that coming down the road. So it's kind of up to the board what you guys want to do, but the recommendation would be to switch.
She's done all the legwork. I'm gonna go along with her recommendation on that, so.
I agree.
Is there, just, we found a committee for them to give us feedback, right? And so if that's what they've come up with, that's.
Yeah. Okay.
I move that the Colstrip Public School Board of Trustees approves the JPT health insurance renewal and the switch to Mutual of Omaha for group life, group long-term disability, and voluntary life for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any public comment on this?
One of the employees that it greatly impacted has already kind of tried to look around and still think it's probably be a better deal than through the school allowance.
Good to know. Any further board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
8.11 CCA ratification. Sabrina, you want to touch on this?
Sure. We had our negotiation meetings, had some great food. I was the constant, and then we had a couple, Angie was there for a couple, Tiffany was there for quite a few, and Steve was there for one. But we got through it, and I think to everyone's benefit, really, so I'll just hit some high notes for you. We changed up some language just that Mr. Otremba had even seen during this year that could use clarification, so we did that. We added some bereavement leave days that are just for bereavement leave instead of having to use their sick days. Added a couple different, we changed the wording for the first couple days that people are contracted to work at the beginning of the year. Added a few more days for a couple of those groups so they can get some training hours in. We changed everything from either 6 months or 90 days to just probationary period for all of basically when their benefits, when they can start using their leave benefits. And then the biggest thing we did was change to a salary matrix. So that's at the very end. And I think this is better for transparency to see where you're going to fall on the matrix and what you'll get paid. And then it's also easier for Brittany in the business office to know exactly where people are going to get paid. So,
And hopefully for retention as well.
yeah, so at the 5-year marks, there's a little bigger bump than there is normally on every single step. There was one employee that cannot be placed on the matrix, so she gets her own MOU. So that's what that is, just clarifying. But I mean, I think Rachel did a great job kind of putting everything together, and I'm happy with it, and the CCA passed it, so I think we're prepared to move forward with it.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
It was good. All the times that I was there, it was good.
Okay.
I like the matrix. I think it's great.
Just makes sense.
It does.
Okay, I move that the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the CCA collective bargaining agreement for school year 25 through 27 and the CCA MOU as presented.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any public comment on this? Derek?
I just want to thank everybody that was able to step in and Sabrina for doing it the whole time. Our schedules were a little bit crazy, so trying to schedule everything was better when you guys were able to help us out. And then also just kind of going forward so that everybody understands that the matrix are steps, not years of experience. So, you know, if you're offering somebody a job and you want them to look at their steps, not years of experience. It took us a long time to wrap our heads around it. Even during negotiations, we all knew what was going on, so just
All right. Any further board?
Yeah, I have a comment. One, just thank you for the committee and the CCA for creating these steps, because I like that with the network technician. I think that can help with some retention and future recruitment. But just a little question of, like Terry said about the steps, I'm just trying to understand how that works. It says initial placement, but can this be used for existing team members? Like, you know, if they have an excellent annual evaluation, that it could be a recommendation I put in to say, move them up from step 2 to step 5 or something. And then I can ask Scott more if you want, would prefer those details in the outside conversation, but I'm just wondering, the initial placement, like they start there and then it's just some criteria moves them up one at a time, or?
So initial placement now, they can start up to step, did we say 5 or 10? 5. So if you bring some experience in now, you can be placed further down on that matrix.
Okay.
And then I know with like the SLPAs and the paras, they have different categories they can move to when they get more education.
Okay.
So, and I know you guys do a lot of education in your department too. That didn't really come up during our talks, but I don't know. I don't know if you could move to a step if you get more certifications. I mean,
we
it
don't
wasn't
have any language for that, and then
Right.
as far as moving, every year is just a step. not-
down. But if you have, I don't think it would be unheard of if you have certain education requirements or certifications that you're asking them to get and they get, I don't think that couldn't be an MOU where we could look at giving them something for getting that education. So I think that would be fair. Since we do it for other groups, we just didn't, I don't think technology really had a voice at the table, so.
I understand that, so I just like that there's some room in there to
Yeah.
have other conversations
Yeah.
in the future.
In past years, when we had asked the district about putting levels, and we actually asked it for negotiations prior to this one, they weren't interested, so. we can bring that up.
All right, that's it. Thanks.
All right, Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye. Eight, 1, 2.
Okay,
Zero.
that's me. Yeah, there's been a request from Mrs. Nansel that we allow a fifth-year student, number 522, to attend high school. As long as they adhere to our policy as presented here. It's before you.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approve student number 522 to attend Colstrip schools for a 5th year.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second, with that, I'll go to the vote. Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye. Uh, 813.
All right, we have another fifth-year student that I'm recommending, and that is student number 523.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approve student number 523 to attend Colstrip schools for a 5th year.
A second.
Okay, a motion and second, with that, I'll go right to the vote. Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay. Moving on, 9.01, reports. Who's the first one there? Ms. O'Toole, anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add. Pretty short and sweet.
Yep.
Last 2 weeks of school.
Your 8th grade promotion was very nice. I like how the school handles it and doesn't leave it up to the parent committee anymore. I think as a parent, that is nice too, because then we can come and help, but we're not like,
Responsible for all that.
yes, so, and it was very good. I loved it.
45 minutes. Great job.
It was good.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
go.
out. It was fun. We're gonna miss them. We will.
Right. Ms. Nansel, anything to add?
I just have a couple. May Students of the Month were freshman Amarise Violet, sophomore Kennedy Bad Horse, junior Cadence Staples. Rosebud County Be a Buddy Not a Bully winner was Riley Sims. Our graduation went really well, short of an envelope mix-up on scholarships. I thought Matt Shahan did an excellent job with his speech, so it went well. We got lots of compliments, and we went 1 hour and 15 minutes, but usually we were shooting for an hour, but went all along. We just had to give away, almost $500,000 in scholarship money, so it took longer. But the other thing, we did recognize staff for Staff Appreciation Week, May 5th through the 9th, and I wanted to thank PTO for all of their gifts in the district. It was a nice opportunity to show appreciation to them. And I got back Friday night from taking, there were 39 kids total, 22 of ours, band and choir students to Nashville. And our kids were wonderful. We got compliments everywhere we went, so that was awesome.
Great, thank you. Mr. Bailey?
Oh, I
anything to
just
add?
want to go over our May bucket fillers. Pardon me if I don't stand up, my eyes won't reach that far. Ensign Davenport, Chaton, long time sleeping twice. Liam Bement, Rainey Spethman, Rachel Petros, Riker Blombeck, Hayden Morrison, Morgan Eckert, Emily Eaglehart, Carissa McTaggart, and Rylan Terrett. And I want to just say thank you to Mr. Otremba for letting me go to my grandson's graduation on the last day of school. So that was good.
That
I'm
was
sorry I
first.
missed it. So, but yeah, we had a pretty wild and crazy May. You can see, I think I got most of it put in there. So it's good. It's a good year.
I do have something extra this time. I forgot to put in my board report, but Special Ed is asked to do a parent involvement survey at the end of all of our IEP meetings. And so I want to applaud the special ed staff because we have the highest return rate for Class B schools. Some of their Class C schools, 200%, but they only have one kid, so that doesn't count. And both parents did it, the survey. But the elementary district had 61.6% return rate, and the high school district had 43.3%, but I want that higher, so I'm sending out reminder emails to ask parents to do more. So, and then that report is reported to, the state uses it to report to the federal government. So, thanks to all the parents that help us achieve high goals.
Are we knocking on doors?
Yeah. Well, I'm not that.
Make a phone call.
No.
Take that survey. Mr. Kirchner, anything from you?
I don't think so. I mean, I have some ACT reports in there, have some map reports, how they align trajectory-wise with the ACT. Some interesting data. Lately, I've been asking a lot of questions just about assessment, and it feels like at a certain level, maybe our assessment strategy is incomplete at this point in time. We have a lot of assessments that tell us that things are occurring, but aren't exactly telling us why things are occurring. They just kind of show us growth, or the student is placed here or here on something, but we're not really getting down to, we're just hitting the symptoms and not necessarily the actual cause of some of the things that we're seeing. And so I'm hoping that we can shore that up a little bit. As time moves on, I think that will improve our interventions as well. So yeah, some amazing assessment data in there if you need a little nighttime reading before bed.
I asked him to put that in there, so please read it, especially the one towards the end with how the map projects the ACT and whatnot. I think just kind of adding on, you okay with me doing this?
Yep.
We've had long discussions even today on probably almost 2 hours about this, using the data, you know, how are and making the data worthwhile, maybe changing some of the future. But anyway, so thanks for doing that, Derek, getting that report to them so they can see it.
All right, thank you very much. With that, Mr. O.
This is my turn. Okay. In the governance calendar, it mentions a year-end review for the superintendent. So I listed some of the highlights. As I sit here and think about it, you know, things that really jump out are, you know, the audits, the work that Brittany did. I remember coming in last summer, her working on the budget, and then we had all of that audited, and that went really well. Jen's went great. So we heard some things just from special ed for her. You know, things that aren't written down here. Mr. Bailey's first year, Mr. Kirchner's first year. So a lot of success bringing them in. I know Jen kind of completed like her first whole year, and so did Evan, right? Were you here the year before a whole year?
He was
Here.
He was, okay, all right. So
A few weeks, but
shows you how new I still am, right? I'm not quite done the whole year of my own, but so lots of good help with contracts with McKinstry, contracting them, looking at the sports complex and all of the deferred maintenance list. That was quite a bit of work, a lot of help from the board. I know Wade was really involved in that and some other meetings with everybody here. So we got everything from facilities to curriculum. Asked to get the curriculum aligned, and I know Derek's worked really hard on that. So a lot of teachers and admin. So the steering committee met tonight. Just a lot of good things, I think, happening with our curriculum, our buildings, the audits, some really good things went through this year. Accreditation went through. Chris and I, and along with some of these folks in here, jumped into that and helped out. We have a little bit we can do some more on as far as the graduate profile for next year. Levies passed. So just some really great support. And I'm right now more looking forward what I've learned and what we can do next year. I know Sabrina asked about the handbooks, and yeah, you know, we're working hard on kind of just cutting back and, you know, refining and getting it to what we have to have to be more efficient. So they're not multiplied in several places and kind of having a domino effect. Something changes and something else might be wrong. So the principals, directors worked really hard on that, a lot of time. Still working on it, but just looking forward to next year with some of the experience and some of these improvements I think that we've done this year. Like I said, from buildings to curriculum for our kids. So it's been exciting and learning. I think I said I was going to be the head learner this year. I'm pretty sure I was. So maybe still am. So, but a lot of great people to learn with to help me. So thank you.
I appreciate you being here this year. I think you've done a great job.
It's been
I agree.
I think
Thank
we
you.
all, yeah.
good team effort. It's always a team effort. But I'll take it. Thanks.
Thank you all, and with that,